Shalom and good day to all who are able to make it to my first anime movie live stream review, and those who were got informed by my last live stream, which was the Challenge of the Super Sons latest issue. Issue 10. I'm glad that you might be able to make it here too, plus anyone else who follows the channel. Well, I was hoping some more people would have turned up by now, but stuff it. I'm going to go ahead anyway. So, with the Demon Slayer, with this Demon Slayer review, I've broken it down into about 3 to 4 areas. Starting off with areas such as things I liked, things I enjoyed. The next area being things I disliked in this anime movie. The next area being things that stood out. In other words, things that I really enjoyed. Then last but not least, I move into the overall rating. So, time to make a start on the things I enjoyed or liked in this particular anime movie. First off, to begin things, the introduction into this anime movie. I really enjoyed that where things took place. It was actually outside before everything started in regards to Tanjiro and the Demon Slayer group, or the Demon Slayer Corp. And you got to see like some of the characters that do make up the world of Demon Slayer. In other words, if I remember correctly, in the manga, I think they're called the Pillars. It's been a while since I've read the manga. So. And I have actually read this arc in the manga. And I can certainly see that it did the best it could to stay, well, as close as it could to the manga. I'll say one thing, with who they chose for the actual company to work on it, it was UFO Table, and I really enjoyed a lot of the things that they actually brought to the scene. And this is where it actually gets to the first thing that I really enjoyed, and that is the scenery. If it's one thing that I've paid attention to, especially within a lot of anime movies in the time that I've been alive, it is paying attention to the background scenery. And my goodness, you can see how things have improved in regards to scenery wise. And yeah, you could literally make out the way they did the trees in some of the scenes. They could almost pass for the real thing, like almost pass for a real tree. That is how good that animation was, just for those scenes alone. Not for every scene, but it worked and was applied a lot to a number of scenes throughout the story. Then, of course, we've finally got the meetup of the characters and them trying to get their ways onto the train, to which we catch up with Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, not Yusuke. Thinking of a different anime there, and manga. And their teamwork and like getting onto a late train to which they're asked to meet up with Rengoku. Now, Rengoku really shone in this story too. But I'll get to that once I get to the third part of this. Now, the other thing I also enjoyed with this was also the teamwork of the characters. And this played an important part also throughout the film, as well as seeing the characters individually take on their own personal fights. So that was really well set and presented in it. And I can understand why this movie got so popular in Japan because of these small little details. And then, of course, what happened with Rengoku. Now, the key enemies in this, the key villains in this, to which I felt they could have been a little bit more intimidating. I think the last villain in this was far more intimidating than the first enemy, which is Enmu. Just going back over my information. And as we move into the actual scene and they're given their tickets and finally their tickets are stubbed, you start to realize that, okay, as soon as that happens, they have entered the dream sequence. Now, this is where I want to bring up a small dislike. Now, this is moving into the next area. The things I disliked. And when we see the first dream sequence, it's got to do with, of course, the Demon Slayers going up and fighting against like the first villain, but they don't realize that they're actually in a dream state. It's not until things happen further throughout the film. So you do get the first Demon Slayer cooperative kill in a dream, but that's all you get. Now, another thing which I think the studios might have been able to introduce is something like non-canonical to the manga. They had the opportunity here to maybe bring in a dream sequence linking to some of the first villains' underlings. Yes, you got to learn why they were under him, but you never understood what they were actually missing in their dreams. Even if they were speaking about their dreams, you never actually got to see their dreams play out. They also had the opportunity here to not only just use the minions that were on the NU at the time, but they could have used other people who were also on the dream, who had fallen victim, and shown some of their dreams. And I know that's something that's not in the manga, but I think it really would have helped show a slightly higher risk for the characters as to who else's dreams they are trying to protect. So moving into the next thing, things that stood out. The Mugen train battle. Now, this battle went on for quite a long time, especially when things had finally left the dream sequence. And through that, you got to see all the Demon Slayers take on the main villain, to which this villain spoiler, found a way to make himself a part of the actual train. And you also see that within the manga too, but it was their way of the villain of increasing the stakes against the Demon Slayers. And that was really good. And I liked what came across there. It made things really super hard for the Slayers to actually beat the character. I must admit as well, even Nezuko really shone in this actual story. I think she was probably one of the better characters in this. She might not speak a lot, but you know what? She doesn't have to speak. She made it up through her actions, just her actions alone. And that spoke louder than any words within the story, because you actually get to see her character going out of their way to including 3 victims of Enmu's control. Of course, we've got the Rengoku battle at the end, which was probably one of the best battle scenes after the Mugen Train battle. And it's, of course, the teamwork made up of Nezuko, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro, and including Rengoku, of things that he relayed to them. There was a great scene towards the beginning as well, to which you see Rengoku, out of instinct, take captive one of the people who were trying to take advantage of him in his dreams. And you also get to see people being taken advantage in their dreams when they were searching for like their key wills or their will to live. And that's seen as like the spirit core, and I'm glad they even showed and gave the definition to the audience, because you do actually see that within the manga, but also it was done for just the average audience member who might not know about Demon Slayer, but it might be the very film that gets them interested in picking up the Demon Slayer anime or even the manga itself. And that was great that was brought across. Another thing that I also enjoyed in this was the soundtrack. I really loved the soundtrack from beginning to end. It was fantastic. It worked well with a number of the fight scenes, as well as working well with a number of scenes that weren't actually fight scenes. It did well in the dream sequences, and I liked how they put a lot of effort and a lot of work. And you also got to see how each character felt in regards to their own personal dreams. Now, moving to the last but not last thing, and that is the overall rating for this. Starting off with the main characters, I gave a 7 out of 10 because they actually felt quite close. Hey, good to see you, Ryuk. You caught me up towards the end of my review. Yes, this movie is manga canon. So it did everything in its power to actually to be as close to the manga as possible. For the supporting cast, I gave a 7.5 out of 10. I thought they came across way better. than a lot of the main characters, including the villain. For the animation of the movie, I gave a 7.5 out of 10. And for the story, how close do I believe it was, like, really close to it? 7 out of 10 overall. But it would have been nice to see if the group that actually made the film also included, like, some of their own scenes for, like, some of the victims, or, like, some of the other victims that were at a stage to which they could have lost their spirit core. So apart from that, this review is now finished. I hope you're doing well, Ryuk. And you got any questions? If you're still here about this movie? Okay, ask away. I ended up seeing this movie last week. For the first time, it was nice to bloody leave the house and go to the cinema because of some of the bloody crazy restrictions we've had here in Australia. It was nice to do something bloody different. So ask away. Waiting on you, Ryuk. Or is there a small time delay here? Okay. Do you think continuing with the scenes, they should do episodes or movies? Interesting question. I've heard that, what I've heard, like, in some news-wise, is that Japan could be planning to cover certain arcs, which, like Demon Slayer here, is sort of like covering a small arc into a whole movie. But it also comes down to the person's personal preference. Some people might enjoy watching it episode by episode, but if you don't have the time to see it episode by episode, it might be easy to see it just in one movie. I felt as though the first season is so freaking long and was unnecessary. Well, I've not watched the first season of Demon Slayer. About the only thing I've sort of watched of Demon Slayer is just the first episode. And that's as far as I got. I've probably read more of the manga than what I have watched of the actual anime. And I think this week, even in my comic trade and manga haul, which will be coming from my LCS, I'll probably be expecting the latest volume of Demon Slayer to turn up in the mail for me, which is getting really close to the end of the series. But I do understand where you're coming from. And I think even with, for example, one series that I have been following through Crunchyroll, which is also linked to a manga plus anime I enjoy, and that is Reborn. The manga for Demon Slayer has already finished, but that's in Japan, so we're still waiting here in the West to get all of the volumes of the manga translated into English. And I think this week we're meant to be getting volume 21. So I'm looking forward to when that comes out. Oh, and I must point out another spoiler too. We do see a death in the movie. Death of an important character. I'm not going to say which character, but that's as far as I'm going. Anything else, Ryuk? Well, seeing that this review is on the topic of all done, okay. Well, maybe I might share. Oh, hold on. Well, I got nothing at the moment. It's understood. One thing I have been catching up with manga-wise and anime-wise, and I'm thinking of planning on doing a review on the Makoto Shinkai Blu-ray box collection. I do have it here. I've almost finished all of the Blu-rays in the series. 2 I've already watched. 1 I've watched in cinema, and the other I've watched online, or I did get the watch through another place, and that was Your Name. Both incredible movies. I really enjoyed it, but it would be really nice to sort of like share my pros and cons about the Makoto Shinkai collection. Things that it could probably have in it. I won't do that now. I'll wait until I get to doing the actual review, which will most likely probably be a live stream like this one. Share what I enjoyed about the films and whatever else, and to even where the Makoto Shinkai lets you know about his universe. Of manga that I've been catching up with, I need to catch up with some Osamu Tezuka's The Roar. I've probably read about halfway through that at the moment, and I need to finish the other half. Other manga that I've presently been reading through is Samurai 8, and I've almost finished it. I'm up to volume 3. I do have some comics and stuff to work on completing there. I wonder who else has made it here. Welcome to the stream to whoever made it, to the additional viewer. Don't know who you are, but I'm glad you made it. Other anime I've been trying to catch up and watch is Reborn, Akira Amano's Reborn. I'm still in the future arc, so it's going to be good when that's finally finished. What else? Apart from being on the slow road to 205 plus subs, that's pretty much about all. Well, a big thanks to those who made it to the stream, and anyone who chooses to watch the stream afterwards. Big thanks to you. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comment of what you thought of this particular arc, if you got to see or what you thought of the movie. Oh, well, I like the final arc of Reborn. You mean in the manga, Ryuk? Or are you talking in the anime? I think it's called the Rainbow. It's got something to do with Rainbow in relation to it, if I remember. That's all I know. I've got a lot to catch up manga-wise too in regards to that. But yeah, Reborn is an incredible series that I really enjoy. Very underrated. Yeah, in the manga. Okay. Thank you, Ryuk. One thing I'd really love to see is that I fell out of watching the Hitman anime. That's understandable. It does have a lot to cover, but it also does cover areas in the anime which was never translated into English in the West, though. And it's a real pity that they only got up to volume 16. I mean it. It's a real bloody pity. Because this is one series that the West really needs translated into English. All of it. I'll happily buy a box set of it too. I've shared about that on the Rainbow Press and Comics website. Oh, no, not the Rainbow Press and Comics website. My Joker's Wild website, to which I use for a little bit of ranting and raving about. Apart from that, thanks to all who made it. I know I've got some comics to catch up with. I'm sure you people have got, I'm sure you as well have things that you need to catch up with. My next review this week will probably be another Super Sons review. So that'll be covering issue 11. And my goodness, well, there's some mistakes this week at Comixology. Oh, this week past at Comixology. But you know what? I'm glad they fixed it up, because at least out of it, I was able to get the review I needed. And for a change, I ended up being one of the first channels that covered Chapter 10. And that doesn't normally happen. So, not worried about it. Why should I worry about it? But you know what else? I'm also glad that there are other people out there who also enjoy the topic of the Super Sons. I'm also glad that I enjoy other things such as manga, anime, but I'm not the only person who enjoys these things, which makes it less lonely in this crazy world. What's that? Yeah, I got manga and 3 weeks of singles to get through because work has been. I can totally understand that. I've got some comic singles as well that I need to catch up with as well. I'm not too sure how far I've gotten it down though. There is some new manga that I did end up getting recently, which I would like to review. I also got to share one of the manga titles, or not manga, share one of the comic titles on Ashen Comics channel when he was doing his stream on indie comics. And one of the new comics that has actually arrived that I'm checking out, following through. It's a very short series. It's only a 3 comic series. It's definitely got the manga vibe to it. And it's called Shinokagi. And it deals a lot with trials and tribulations with the character. And I'll probably cover that in the review for the channel. Now, I'm wondering if I should maybe hold off and wait until issue 3 turns up, to which I can review all 3 issues, or just review the issues I already have. to which I've got issue 1 and issue 2 on the channel. That's sort of where I'm stuck at the moment. But I do look forward to sort of like seeing the whole story come to fruition. And I'll probably grab it in trade paperback as well when it's announced and solicited to be in trade paperback. I think there's another manga type one that I've got as well, which has 5 issues, or meant to have 5 issues to it. I'll see if I can pull it out now. Oh, there we go. I didn't have to rush for it. It's called Orphan and the 5 Beasts. So this is meant to have like a bit of a manga type appearance to it as well, but of course in color. I'll probably review this. I don't know what I'm going to overly think about it. Just going by the art in it, it looks like it gives, for example, slightly similar art to what you saw in the Peach Momoko storytelling, but thank goodness it's not Peach Momoko on the art. Not that there's anything wrong with Peach Momoko. She does have her own unique art style, and I do like that. So until then, let's keep it colorful. And a big thanks to all who made it. Thank you, Ryuk, as well, for your contribution to the stream, even if it was comments and talking to myself. It's better than nothing. I would have gone ahead and still continued to review. It would have been a shorter stream, but I'm glad you turned up. It helped make the stream a little bit more worth it and a little bit more bigger. In length. And it's great to have people who follow the channel also show their interest in what you might be enjoying. So you might also want to check out Ryuk's channel. I'm not too sure if he's got anything on his channel or not, but do you have anything on your channel, Ryuk? You don't mind me asking? I'm not worried if you don't, but might be a good way for you to get some subscribers. Okay, then I think we're done there then. No, nothing. I just watch. Work on it. Okay. Point understood. Point understood, Ryuk. Well, if you did have something there, it would have been nice to shill it anyway. But who knows? You might, if you are someone who might just want to shill to him because he does follow back, so be it. Don't have the end. Hopefully one day you will. But always understood. Always understood. Well, let's keep it colorful. And for anyone else, I hope you all have an awesome day.